within my own constituency, 40 in Our Lady of Lourdes. And conditions in the emergency department of Beaumont Hospital are now so bad that a senior emergency department doctor, in a letter to the hospital management and the HSE, has described it as being the equivalent of healthcare Guantanamo. And according to Eilish O'Regan in the Irish Independent this morning, this letter was written in December, before the current crisis escalated. The doctor says critically ill patients are receiving blood transfusions on chairs. Heart attack patients are regularly treated on chairs. He struggled to get a trolley for a man with liver failure. 2 patients with advanced cancer were doomed, he says, to sit on chairs for 24 hours, and he had to resuscitate a patient who suffered a cardiac arrest after being placed in an annex corridor. Taoiseach, a HSE report shows that there are 705 hospital patients who no longer need to be in hospital. They should be discharged to a nursing home, a rehab bed, or their own house with a home care package. But your government won't put the money into this. Age Action Ireland has described these citizens, these patients, as prisoners of the state. Taoiseach, will your government now prioritise a solution to this crisis by immediately increasing the number of step-down beds, by ensuring that the Fair Deal scheme is adequately funded, and will you speed up funding for house adoptions and home health packages?
Thank you.
Well, I've already read out some of the 1,000 extra beds that are being opened across the country, and the fact that the Minister is awaiting the finalised and final review report in respect of Fair Deal. The number of elderly people over 65 this year is 604,000. That's going to rise by 100,000 in the next 5 years, obviously to over 700,000. So clearly, the task force set up by the Minister to look at the question of delayed discharges and step-down facilities is being addressed in the opening of 1,000 beds across the country. As I said to Deputy Martin, this is not the first time we've had letters written by senior medical personnel about the conditions that they find in hospitals. If you had the money to allocate in the morning, you still have a problem in the sense of the range of accommodation, which is acutely a problem with Our Lady of Lourdes in the general region there. So 1,000 beds are being opened to deal with these delayed discharges, but clearly there are challenges in there that the task force are looking at. As I said, this is the first year in a number of years that there's been an allocation of an increase to the health vote, and rightly so. And the health service plan submitted by the HSE is being implemented. So the trolley numbers are generally higher in the morning. The Minister commented on this morning, and they generally reduce substantially during the course of the day and go back up again during the night period, as Deputy Adams is aware. But this is a matter that is being focused on as an absolute priority by the task force set up by the Minister, and I hope that it can be managed effectively in the patient's interest in the time ahead.
Thank you. Deputy Adams.
Taoiseach, I don't know what that means when you say this isn't the first time that a person involved in the medical services writes letters like this, or even when you say that the Minister commentated on this morning. The Minister isn't just a commentator. You know, people will be outraged at the contrast that was revealed in a Comptroller and Auditor General report between the conditions endured by patients in emergency departments on your watch, with reports that HSE managers are claiming public money for nights in five-star hotels, public money for flights for guests and for alcohol on trips. And also, the audit report found that a former retired employee was rehired on a contract of 6 hours per week for a salary of €156,000. Now compare that with the plight of those citizens who are prevented from going home because you can't give them the financial support for a home care package or basics such as a grab rail or other appliances. And it's little wonder that people are angry or cynical when they hear you and your health minister. You allocated a mere $25 million towards extra nursing home beds under the Fair Deal scheme. In my own constituency, you closed public beds. Now, the Taoiseach is telling us how a recovery Cormier and Castanish. The Taoiseach is telling us how a recovery in public finances means the government will make long-term investment. Not a word about the hospital crisis, not a word of the 24,369 patients who are awaiting elective surgery for more than 6 months. So contrary to what you claimed, your minister didn't respond to this morning. As I said earlier, he comes on, he waltzes on as if he was a health commentator, as if he was a spectator. So let's focus, Taoiseach.
Sorry, please.
Let's focus, Taoiseach, on a solution. And the solution is that the current health budget's entirely unrealistic. It's obviously insufficient to deal with the crisis. By getting these medical discharge patients home or into nursing beds, that will relieve all of that, and by giving them the protections which they deserve as citizens. So I would ask you, Taoiseach, try to refrain from smart aleck remarks, try to deal with the solution, and try to deal with resolving this problem. For once, be a problem solver, Taoiseach.
Thanks very much, Deputy Adams. Yesterday you commented that the solution to water was to have a general taxation scheme that would provide a proper water service. By that you mean an increase in income tax, an increase in commercial rates, and the introduction of a land tax. Perhaps you might comment on that yourself at the weekend when you have the opportunity. And when you're up in Derry, perhaps you might also say that you regret the closing of 20 beds in the Bangor area, which was announced on television last night. Now, Deputy Adams, you always have the solution, which is more money. Let me comment, without reading the detail, of a draft audit report that I've seen from the HSE.
Sorry, Taoiseach, you've only 17
which apparently has been circulated to members of the Shannon. That's a draft audit. Obviously, the HSE have got to follow that through. And believe me, Deputy Adams, if it's not acceptable, then monies paid in the wrong should be paid back, and people who are not authorised to travel should see that those things are reimbursed. Also, that's a draft report. Obviously, the HSE have got to answer to the CNAG in respect of this. I've referred to the fact that the Minister for Health is one of the few ministers who's actually dealing with the real problem here, following on the difficulties that were tackled into by Minister Riley. When we had a situation over here, when the Minister for Health of the day, at a time when 16 billion was being spent in the health budget, and Deputy Minister Micheál Martin refused to accept any responsibility for it. I have no responsibility for my department and for the expenditure. At least Minister Varadkar and Minister Riley faced up to the problem, and hopefully they'll get this under control for every patient throughout the country. You, sir, refused to accept any responsibility, despite the fact that you're spending 16,000 million of public funds.
Would you all just sit down? Don't be getting excited. They'll be all needing health care in a minute if you keep excited like that. Deputy Fleming, thank you.